Hey there. As you may know, it is 9/11, and I have prepared a speech to remember the tragedies committed about 9/11. And the way I'm dressed, I'm not dressed as like a politician or an official or anything like that, because I feel like that would be irresponsible and disrespectful to those who died as a result of the 9/11 attacks. So, let's get to it. The 9/11 were a tragic and devastating event, resulting in the loss of nearly 3,000 innocent lives. A single drop of blood that sparked a chain reaction of violence. However, I believe the U.S. response has been like a floodgate of bloodshed, with organs scattered everywhere, a stark reminder of the widespread destruction and chaos that has ensued. In a staggering mismatch of scales, our response to the loss of 3,000 lives has led to the deaths of over 1 million innocent Muslims, displaced millions more, and caused irreparable harm to entire communities. The mantra of never forget has been hijacked to justify this carnage, obscuring the fact that we've forgotten the value of Muslim lives, forgotten the principles of justice and compassion, and forgotten that our actions have consequences. I struggle to reconcile the initial loss of 9/11 with the sheer scale of harm inflicted in its name. It is crucial to acknowledge the complexities of this narrative and consider the ethical implications of our actions, lest we perpetuate a cycle of violence and harm. The 9/11 attacks can be seen as a horrific form of pushback against decades of U.S. foreign policy actions that have wreaked havoc on the Middle East and beyond. From popping up authoritarian regimes like Saudi Arabia and Egypt to supporting Saddam Hussein's brutal regime in Iraq, and later imposing devastating sanctions that killed hundreds of thousands of Iraqi civilians. The U.S. as a global superpower has wielded its vast military and economic might to shape the region according to its interests, often with disastrous consequences for local populations. Meanwhile, the Middle East is largely comprised of third world countries, has been unable to match the U.S.'s firepower and resources, leading to a profound power imbalance. This asymmetry has allowed the U.S. to dictate terms, topple governments, and exert power over the region's resources, fueling widespread resentment and anger. While this context doesn't justify the 9/11 attacks, it's crucial to acknowledge the complex web of causes and consequences that led to this tragedy, rather than simply reducing it to a simplistic narrative of good versus evil. It is troubling that we only remember the tragedy that affects us directly, even after 20 years, while ignoring the devastating impact of our actions on others. The fact that no one has suffered a similar attack since 9/11, yet we continue to perpetuate violence and bloodshed in other parts of the world, is a stark reminder of our selective memory and moral inconsistency. The U.S. has been involved in conflicts and actions that have resulted in significantly higher casualties and harm to other populations. The Vietnam War, Iraq War, and Afghan War, among others, have led to estimated civilian casualties ranging from tens of thousands to millions. Additionally, the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki immediately killed an estimated 140,000 to 200,000 people. Acknowledging these harsh realities is crucial to understanding the complexities of historical events and the varying perspectives and experiences of different nations and communities. By recognizing the harm caused by U.S. actions, we can work towards a more nuanced understanding of the world and our place within it, and strive for empathy and accountability in international relations. In conclusion, the U.S. has a history of responding to a tragedy on conflict with excessive force, from the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki to the wars in Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan. Even in the face of devastating attacks like 9/11, our response has been marked by a cycle of vengeance and retribution, rather than reflection and restraint. We always respond excessively, with catastrophic consequences for innocent lives and global stability. It's time for us to confront this pattern and strive for a more measured, empathetic, and peaceful approach to conflict and tragedy. Yeah, that's basically it. Yes, of course, many people died on this day, but as a result, we've killed so many more. And we have never faced a, great amount of people dying in our country in the last 200 years or so, I think. But we always kill more. And I think it's simply due to the fact that we are a superpower country. And we literally do have more power. It is about power imbalance. It is entirely 100% has to do with power imbalance and the fact that we simply can't do this whenever the hell we want to. Yeah, that's about it. See ya. I thought I'd return to make this video because, well, yeah,